the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red royals, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar. Your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar. 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Get ready for your next adventure and discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia today. Check out the 2025 SUV family. The road is yours. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. Now offering 1.9% APR up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage or a 2025 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind that you can trust. Bill Bird Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. See us today.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage and a 2025 Sorento with $1,748 per month for 1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 6/2/25.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing. Visit them online at HewittTire.com. On Airport Road in Panama City. 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
This Memorial Day at the Sleep Center, you can save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Tempur-Pedic, made in the USA, and available at
the Sleep Center, where it's bedtime all day long.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction, be part of a winning team.
WGSX Lynn Haven, W Field Q Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Broadcasting from the Gulf Studios. It's the Inside Drive. It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got in the bag.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Studios. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. All you got to do there is search up 104.3. You'll find that app right there, either store, Android or Apple, doesn't matter. You can take us anywhere you go with that Listen Live. Big play button right in the middle of that app when it opens up. I am going to apologize for coughing today, as if you listened yesterday, it was a tough go, but probably going to cough a little bit today as well. Actually, I feel one coming on. But you can also head over to ESPNPC.com. Right there, you've got Scorpion TV. All these different packages coming out, all these, NBA switching up what they're doing. NFL's got 1 million games on Amazon Prime now, it seems. But you can find all that stuff right there on Scorpion TV for a mere $45 a month with code ESPNNW. You can't beat that opportunity that we are providing, and the only way to sign up for it is go ahead and head over to ESPNPC.com. You'll see it there right at the top of the page in that banner ad. Click, follow the prompts. You'll get an email. Easy to sign up. If you have any issues, you can, of course, reach out to the station at 850-215-6290. Atlanta Braves, they had a record yesterday.
What record is that?
I'll tell you here in just a moment. So the Atlanta Braves had another walk-off victory yesterday. I believe that was, 4-3 last night over the Washington Nationals. Again, they get one game close. Every time they get within a game to 500, they lose that next game.
So inching on closer.
Yep. It was like 15-16, and then they went on a little streak, and then I think it was 18-19, and that happened, and now here we are again at 20-21 as we are, second game of the National Series coming up tonight, 6 p.m. right after the afternoon underdogs. First pitch at 6:15. We'll run it back again tomorrow night. Hopefully they can get the dub tonight against the Nationals, and then on Wednesday might be able to get another dub and actually get over 500, and of course they play again on Thursday as well, which will not be aired here on ESPN Northwest Florida because I believe that is a day game, or as Jay likes to call it, the businessman's special. Yes, 11:15 here in the Central Time Zone, so 12:15 at the actual Truist Park. But hopefully the Braves can certainly get it rolling, keep it rolling. But the Braves have alternated 1-run losses and 1-run wins in 7 straight games. That is the longest such streak by any team in MLB history.
So 1-run games for 7 games?
Yep. So they lost 1 by 1, 1 by 1, lost 1 by 1, 1 by 1, and then they did that for 7 straight times.
That's and it's insane too because it's a sad record to own when we're talking about the Pirates and the Nationals. Nationals, I mean, both teams really have a young nucleus, a young core, but it is wild that the Braves are alternating these. I mean, are we choosing to be in the dogfights? Like, what's going on?
It's a lot more stressful. That's for sure.
Well, it's fun as a fan, I think, to watch those games, and that's 2019 for the Atlanta Braves is when things really kind of started to change. Maybe a year or two prior to that, but 2019, I believe, is the year where we would be down in every game, it felt like, but we would always climb back, and even if we weren't winning, we were scrapping till the end. And then, fortune started to change a little bit. They started winning some of those games, and that's when I think the culture started to change. So it's kind of good to see them playing some scrappy baseball right now.
Absolutely. Walking it off or losing by 1, kind of the theme. So, hey, if you like trends and you like to bet, I would bet, I guess, the Nationals to win
plus
tonight.
1.5?
To win by 1. You could get that, can you do the run differential? I guess that would be.
Yeah, I'm sure that you can. But normally they start out at plus 1.5 or minus 1.5.
Gotcha.
I'll also say that the Nationals being on a 6-game losing streak does not bode well for the Braves tonight either. So that trend could end up playing out.
Yeah, absolutely. And they'll continue on into the weekend with a 3-game series on the road up there at Fenway Park. First game gets underway on Friday, 6:10 first pitch. On Saturday, 6:15 first pitch. And then on Sunday, a little day matinee game there at 12:35 here in the Central Time Zone. Followed by a trip just down the coast. Not really on the coast. Neither one of those are on the coast, but close enough to the coast. They'll be heading back down or going against the Nationals again there in the DMV area. I don't know exactly. Maybe Arlington, throwing it out there where the Washington Nationals are. They in Virginia?
I think they're in D.C.
Yeah, well, the DMV area touches multiple different states, I thought.
And when I hear Arlington, I think Texas.
Yeah, you would. Arlington, Texas. But, and then they continue on. They've just been playing, I guess they get a break, not Memorial Day weekend, but actually Memorial Day is their next day off, it looks like, as far as their schedule.
They're rocking and rolling right now.
They're in the thick of it, as the Backyardigans would say on one of their songs. That's not an old cartoon, but I don't even know if it's around anymore. But it was around when my kids were growing up, so I remember the Backyardigans.
So the Nationals Park is along the Anacostia River in the Navy Yard neighborhood of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
At that
District of Columbia.
Well, so what was your original question on that?
Like, which state? I guess it's inside the D.C. Okay. Because I think the Washington Capitals play outside of the state. But again, don't quote me on it. Got that in early today. While David's looking that up, we're going to pivot to the NFL side of things.
It's in Washington, D.C., located at the Chinatown section of the larger Penn Quarter neighborhood. The arena sits atop the Gallery Place Rapid Transit Station of the Washington Metro.
There you go. Well, now you're going to have to look up the Commanders. Now we all know. Well, we all know. Anyway, while he's doing that again, I'm gonna be I'm talking about the schedule release for the NFL, as we've been kind of releasing a little bit here and there. Let me guess, it's in Washington D.C.
No, Northwest Stadium, and you could don't quote me, but quote Google on this. Northwest Stadium is an American football stadium in Landover, Maryland.
God, I knew that.
5 miles east of Washington, D.C.
I knew there was one out of the. Well, there's one more. Well, the Capitals are host to the Wizards too. Yeah. So there was one outside of Washington, D.C. I knew there was something because I know Alan Sandage, our good friend of the show here, he's got press stuff he does from the press box for the Commanders game. So
I wonder how Al feels when he sees his ice turned into hardwood.
I imagine probably a little bit somewhere inside the heart, probably.
I worked so hard on it.
And you guys just melt my ice, drain it out, and put some basketball courts on it. I guess they haven't had a conflicting playoffs in a little while. I think the Wizards have not been in the playoffs in quite some time.
No doubt.
Hadn't had to worry about in the playoffs. But Washington needs to worry because they find themselves in a 3-1 hole after last night's victory by the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll talk about NHL a little bit later on in the show. We got Doc A coming up at 11:20. And then we've got Brad Law from the Auburn Tigers coming up at 12:20. First, I want to talk a little bit about the schedule release going on with the NFL. The official full schedule release will be coming up tomorrow night, I believe 7 p.m. Central Time Zone on the NFL Network, and then ESPN's doing like a simultaneous reaction coverage, because we won't look up on the internet and see all those reactions. First game of the season, an NFC East matchup.
There we go.
Can the Cowboys come to life to start off the 2025 campaign? That'll be Cowboys at the Eagles, 8:20 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone, 7:20 here in the Central Time Zone. That'll be right there on NBC before they pivot over to Amazon Prime for the rest of the Thursday night football games. Current line in that game, which has already been released, has the Eagles. Where'd it go? I just had it.
Eagles -3.5.
No, I believe it's, where'd it go? I think
Is it higher than that? 5.5?
Yes. No, it's -7.
Oh, full touchdown.
Yes, -7 in that one, and obviously the Eagles are a significant money line favorite in that one. Obviously the defending champions coming off their Super Bowl victory, and that'll be a fun way to kick off the season. See if the moves that Dallas has made can impact going against their NFC East foe.
Yeah.
Next, on Friday, you got a little Brazilian action as the Chiefs take on the Chargers to open up their 2025 campaign. That'll be at 8 or 7:15 in the Central Time Zone. It says YouTube, which
so they're doing one game. I didn't know that they've released this already. They're doing one game on straight YouTube.
Well, that's
not
the game.
YouTube TV, but YouTube, and it's interesting that they're going to go to a free platform for that. I really do think that. I mean, it's so tough to say because obviously they make so much money elsewhere, but I feel like every NFL game should be free to watch, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, that doesn't make business sense.
No.
But
It'd be
I mean,
tough to keep going, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, though, is you can watch, it, depending on your region, right? Depending on your region, you can watch your team on Sundays for free if you have an antenna.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just about regional broadcasting, and so that's where kind of the difference is. I guess it does make sense. Not I guess. It does make sense to have to pay if you're out of the market. I get all of that, but dadgum, y'all make enough money that y'all could change the way, and the NFL could change the way that sports are viewed.
What if they get a record number of viewership on YouTube? I don't think it'll happen, but
I think that they could still maintain a 1-year deal or a one game deal a year.
17 times 32, whatever that is. Yeah, plus the playoffs, of course. Yeah, it's certainly indeed a lot. But yes,
3 of them digits, I would imagine. Maybe 4.
No green down there in Brazil this time, where last year the Eagles and the Packers, started their campaigns in Brazil. Nothing has been announced yet for Sunday of the first week. And, of course, you've got Monday Night Football. And then the second week kicks off back on Amazon Prime with your Thursday Night Football. And then the next announcement is Sunday, September 28th. The Vikings versus the Steelers over there in Dublin, Ireland. See why the Vikings aren't playing in like Iceland or something like that. You know, there's probably a huge soccer stadium in Iceland, right? The Vikings.
The ice box.
It makes sense. Oh, yeah. It's Little Giants reference again. I like it. 2 days in a row. Actually, going back to last Friday, too, I think you guys had the Little Giants reference there as well. But yes, Vikings and Steelers in Dublin on Sunday, September 28th. That kicks off at 8:30 a.m. here in the Central Time Zone. Moving into October, the Vikings get another trip across the pond, as Jay would say, as they take on the Cleveland Browns in London on Sunday, October 5th at 8:30 a.m. there on the... So back to... I guess they're probably just going to stay over there, huh? Because they're playing on September 28th, and then they come right back and play on October 5th, but they got to go from Ireland to London, which isn't really that far of a trip, but... probably staying over there the whole time.
Sorry, I was responding to a text on our text system from Ohio Brad. He says, you can watch any game free. I do.
Yeah.
You can also get Scorpion TV for $41.99 a month.
That's it. Code ESPNNW. All these games will be right there on Scorpion TV. I don't know why I always pop up the code. It's the stinger. It's the stinger, right? It comes up and it... get you.
I mean, that was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Sting. So I love it when you do that, man.
Dream of life. That's the other Sting.
Yeah, different Stings.
Just kidding.
That one stings a little bit more.
Yeah, that one's a little drawn out. But they go Sunday. It's the Vikings. So the Vikings take on the Steelers in Ireland on September 28th. And then the following Sunday, they will play the Browns in London at the same time.
I misheard you. I thought you said Iceland.
Well, I was saying the Vikings should play in Iceland.
Yeah,
or Norway or something like that.
The 100% direction to go. I mean, we're missing out on a huge opportunity.
Yep.
Skull!
Yeah.
And they all get a free pack of dip or a free can of dip when they're walking into the stadium.
And all these Vikings just start coming in when they start the war chant or whatever it's called, the skull drum thing. But yeah, you show up. And you don't want all those Vikings to show up. I don't know. But yes, I'm assuming that the Vikings are going to be hanging out somewhere doing their practices before they head over to London from Ireland, or they get to London early and they practice. And then the next week, you've got the Broncos versus the Jets in London. So if you live over there in England, you're going to get back-to-back Sunday football. It'll be right there on the NFL Network, 8:30 a.m. our time. So when you're setting your fantasy lineups, doing all that stuff, make sure you're paying attention to these international games, because I believe there is, 7 or 8 total this year. Quite a few more international games than usual, but each year it continues to build up. Side question, do you ever think there'll be an international NFL team? It's kind of counterproductive, kind of contradictory.
Having an international
football league?
And then you're playing internationally?
Yeah.
Grow the game, though.
Grow the game. That's true.
What was that league that they had back in maybe the 90s? Was it NFL World or something? NFL Europe, maybe? Maybe that was the name of it?
That sounds familiar. I don't have anything on the top of my head for it, but yeah, it does sound familiar. I'm sure it was. So Sunday, October 19th.
Yeah, it was NFL Europe.
NFL Europe.
NFL Europe League.
Europe League. Ooh, not to be confused with the Euro League. Yeah. Just put the E on the end of it. Sunday, October 19th, the Rams will be playing the Travis Hunter-led Jacksonville Jaguars in London at 9:30. So it looks like London's got back-to-back-to-back games. So, all those crazy NFL fans over there in Great Britain, Ireland, Scotland, all those places can make a trip to London for, looks like, 3 consecutive weeks. Yes, because it goes Dublin, London, actually it starts Brazil. There's a Berlin somewhere as well. I might have
That's in Germany.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I just hadn't got to that one yet, I guess. But yeah, we go Brazil, Dublin, London.
Bridges falling down.
London bridges falling down. And then the Falcons play the Colts on November 9th in Berlin. Again, that's an 8:30 kickoff time right there on the NFL Network. And then that Monday Night Football game following that, I guess they've announced that one already. Eagles-Packers will be coming up on November 10th. And then we go down to the great country of España, as on Sunday, November 16th, the Commanders and the Dolphins will be playing in Madrid. That's the first game in Spain, right?
I believe so. That's Real.
Yeah, Real Madrid.
No, I was just saying real, but I wanted to say it's that's fancy.
It's so fancy. Let's see. Then we got Thanksgiving. Somebody at the Lions, somebody at the Cowboys, and then somebody versus somebody. That's what's been released thus far. And then
it's somebody versus somebody. Man, I'm stoked about that matchup.
I bet somebody wins.
Take a guess. Take a guess on who you think it'll be.
Ooh.
Who was it last year? Who was the third game last year? Because I think 2 years ago, what was it? Vikings and...
I know the Niners played 2 years ago on Thanksgiving.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, because they didn't, thank goodness, last year. Lions, man, it's always Cowboys, Lions. It's got to be AFC teams, right? Or at least one AFC team.
I know we get the Ravens and the Steelers, I feel like, a lot on that. Maybe that was last year.
Well, and Black Friday is going to be...
it was the Dolphins and the Packers last year for the third game of the year.
That's
right.
Or
for the third game of Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yes. The nightcap after everybody's already asleep from eating all that turkey. But then the Bears and the Eagles play on Black Friday on Amazon Prime. So it's not going to be the Bears or the Eagles. So Bears have played a lot on Thanksgiving, too, if I recall. It's got to be the Steelers and somebody, right?
So 2023 was 49ers and Seahawks.
Yeah, that's right. Divisional matchup.
I'm just going to keep on going back.
Go back.
But if I were to take a guess...
Gander.
How about the Browns and the Titans?
Ooh,
just a weird matchup.
Yeah.
Possibly Shadur, possibly Joe Flacco. Who knows? Is it father time or is it young man time? Is it Icy Sanders going up against Cam Ward? Browns and the Titans for Thanksgiving.
Hey, I'm all for it. I am all for it.
We're playing for the first pick, baby.
Hey, you never know. I feel good about the Titans this year. You know, their division's not the best.
I'm glad someone does.
Yeah, hey, no, optimism.
It was the Patriots and the Vikings 3 years ago.
Okay.
So then 2021 has got to be the Ravens and the Steelers. Come on, Ravens and Steelers. Feel like I'm about to roll some dice or something. It was the Bills and the Saints. I don't even remember that game.
It was probably a not memorable game.
All right, how about 2020 was... They were originally scheduled to have the Ravens and the Steelers.
So it never played.
But that was moved because of COVID-19 concerns. So it was just 2 games.
Dang.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving was not so thankful that year.
Yeah, right.
The other games on the docket thus far coming up in Week 16, that is December 20th, you'll have the Packers at the Bears and the Eagles at the Commanders. And then on Christmas Day... you'll have somebody versus somebody on Netflix for both of those. And then the nightcap game will be the Broncos at the Chiefs on Amazon Prime. And that takes you through all the games that have already been released as far as the schedule is concerned. Like I said earlier, the final schedule release will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. here in the Central Time Zone. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk to Doc A about these wild NBA playoffs. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Let's go to Dwayne up next.
Hey, I want to know why all y'all Alabama fans and stuff didn't sue the NFL to send Jalen Milroe up there. Everybody in the world knows Jalen Milroe wasn't no first-round pick.
This is hard for some people to believe. You actually have to have grounds for a lawsuit.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 78 with a moderate breeze around 14 miles per hour coming out of the west-southwest. For tonight, clear skies and a low near 72. Tomorrow, a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour, mostly sunny and a high around 81. For Thursday, mostly sunshine and a high of 82. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Now in stock at Tommy Autos.
2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude. Luxury at a value price. $13,995 or a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport with one owner. Sporty and affordable. $11,995 at Tommy Autos.
Buy here, pay here, financing options available. Everyone is approved. Tommy Autos, 2209 West 15th Street, Panama City. Call 850-960-8664. For the latest deals and specials, follow Tommy Autos on Facebook at Tag Tax and Title.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. And now,
Doctor, my eyes.
Doc A joins the Inside Drive. It's just what the doctor orders.
Oh, doctor! Talk to your doctor before use.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I feel like I hadn't got to... Well, I think we talked last week, but other than that, I just hadn't talked as much other than outside of the show. And that is the man, the myth, the legend, the only one here on the Inside Drive that officially has an introduction song and has had one for quite some time, as he's kind of been with us since the quote-unquote beginning of here, the Inside Drive. The GOAT of NBA fantasy writing. That's our good friend Steve Alexander, but as y'all know, we do call him Doc A. Doc, how we doing on this beautiful Tuesday?
Not bad. Before we get into this, two things. One, I didn't even know what to pull up on my computer because there's so much to talk about that I don't even know where we're going to start. But two, I don't know how many of you all are there today, but do you guys, when they ask you if you want a table or a booth at a restaurant, what's the answer?
I asked if I could sit outside on the sidewalk. No, man, it depends on the party that I'm with. But if there's like 4 people, then a comfortable booth will do well.
Yeah. Doc, you probably already know my answer. We will wait if there's tables open just to get a booth. Something about confining the kids in there and just being comfortable with the squishy seats and being able to lean back. So we always go for the booth, whether it's ready or not. I mean, if it's like an hour wait, no, we're not waiting that long. But if it's 10, 15 minutes for a booth, we'll hop a seat down there in the waiting area and wait for the booth.
I'm not waiting for a booth, though. Like, I'm first come, first serve, or not first come, first serve, but whatever you got open.
I'm taking.
I'm going that way. But if it's choice, then I'll go booth.
Yeah. What about you, Doc?
Well, it depends, right? If I'm with my family, if there's just 3 or 4 of us, we want a booth. My wife is always a booth person.
That's where my booth fandom comes from, is from my beautiful bride.
Yeah. But if I'm out with like 4 or 5 guys, like if the 3 of us and oh, shoot, I forgot it. Help me. Coach. Jay.
Yeah.
Like the 4 of us.
We forget about him too often. I hadn't seen him in a while.
I haven't talked to Jay forever, but if we're all going out as a group of guys, I don't necessarily need to be at a booth with a bunch of guys. So
that's fair.
It just depends. But it's funny, my buddy
situational
and I were arguing about this. Really, for the last 24 hours, we've been having a war via text and Facebook, and he said that he always selects a table so that it's a freedom and doesn't get trapped inside the booth, which I can sort of respect that. But then I said, well, when my wife and I go, we always get a booth. If it's just the 2 of us, we're in a booth and we're sitting across from each other. He goes, oh, when my wife and I go, we always sit at the bar so we don't have to look at each other or talk to each other, which I thought was hilarious.
Wow.
He's like, we do enough of that at home. We want to talk to different people when we go out to eat. So,
man, healthy. Oh man, yeah, but no, that's a good poll question, booth or table. But it sounds like for all of us, it's kind of situational when it comes to that particular. I 100% agree. If I'm out with a bunch, although when we had Diego's a couple weeks ago with Jay, who was nice to see him that week, we sat in a booth, but there was just 3 of us, so I had the stag
my
side.
first answer will always be booth. Like I'm booth. But there are times when that may not be the best.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Doc, we'll jump right in. Wasn't where I wanted to start, but I'm going to start here. The Mavericks got the number 1 lottery pick despite a 1.8% chance. Obviously, a lot of people are like, well, was that fixed? Was it the reality of the situation? Because this isn't the first time that you've had a team that has lost their superstar, but then ended up with the number 1 pick or a great prospect coming out of college.
No, and I was waiting for you to finish that question and say, is the lottery rigged?
That was, subliminally, that was my question. Let me find the...
I don't know.
So kind of piggyback on that, just to kind of give everybody some context. Let's see. I was trying to find the exact ones. I know I texted it last night, but I had it here in front of me in just a moment. Is the question...
Well, dude, I saw something on Twitter that the percentage chance of the draft order finishing Mavericks, whoever was sat there, Sixers and
Spurs
Charlotte
got second, I believe.
Or Spurs and then Sixers. The odds of it finishing in that order were like 0.011 or something. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But if we are going to say that the lottery is rigged, then what is it? Ernst & Young, is that the accounting firm?
Something like that. I heard they used to do Enron's books, too.
I mean, then you've got them involved. You've got the commissioner. Like, there's so much.
It's a lot of collusion if it's indeed being rigged.
It seems like it would be almost impossible to rig it, but it also seems like you and I, the average person has a 50-50 shot at winning a bet, and we lose more than we win.
Oh, no doubt.
And now we're hitting on 0.01% chance of it happening. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
No, and in the world we're kind of living in now, where everybody's kind of really, even people that weren't into conspiracy theories have dove in on conspiracy theories, because there can only be so many coincidences before something behind the scenes is going on. And, everybody always harps on the NFL and all that stuff, but, does it continue a trend of receiving number 1 pick after trading a superstar? I finally found it. New Orleans picking up AD after trading Chris Paul. New Orleans again picking up Zion Williamson after trading Davis, and now the Mavs are getting flag after sending Luka to Los Angeles. I'm sure there's some Boston Celtics ones in there too, but I don't know those ones off the top.
Well, the straight up thing that is being said on Twitter is the commissioner and the NBA made Dallas trade Luka to the Lakers, and then said, we'll make sure you get Cooper Flag. And it's...
The trade was so ridiculous that I could see that being the case.
It's just crazy. And I was never a conspiracy theory guy. Like, 10 years ago, I was like, no, surely not. And now I question everything, man, because...
You have to.
I think we all do. Now that there's so much information out there, and there's everybody has access to everything. And, just because the government or the NBA told us it is so doesn't necessarily mean it is so. So I honestly, most of me wants to believe that it is not rigged. It's legit, and stuff like this just randomly happens. That's what I'm going to go with. But, if evidence comes out 30 years from now after I'm gone and they say, ooh, Patrick Ewing's envelope really was bent
and frozen.
That was totally fixed. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. There's an easy way to identify envelopes as, the one you need to pick up. Wasn't there kind of the same thing with the bent? Wasn't there like a frozen one or something like that too?
The frozen envelope, the bent corner, and it's funny. Sometimes I play in a pool tournament on Wednesday nights, and one of the things we have to do is draw. There's 2 tables, and you draw a card to see which table you're going to play at. And I've only been like 3 times, but I know it's always aces and 2s that he puts out there, and I know which one is like the ace of hearts because it's got a mark on the back of it. And it's so easy to fix stuff like that. So I don't even know.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. And it would just be some no-name guy doing something behind the scenes that nobody ever will ever talk about or hear about, and that's usually how it goes.
And while we're talking about that, is Dallas going to trade Cooper Flagg or the rights to Cooper Flagg and bring back an established superstar? Kyrie Irving's out until at least January. He's out at least half of next season. So they're not going to win right away, even if they get Cooper Flagg, who's only 19 years old.
Yeah.
And then did you see the look on Cooper Flagg's face when Dallas got the number 1 pick?
Yes.
It looked like they just told him that his uncle died.
He was like, oh, man, I'm going to this. All right.
Oh, he just did not look happy about it. And nobody wants to go to Dallas. I mean, I think everybody is leery of Nico Harrison at this point. So it's just never ending with the NBA, right? And it's going to be like this all summer. This is the summer of Giannis and the summer of Kevin Durant. Like, where are they going to end up? And,
yep.
It's just going to go all the way until training camp, and then we'll do this all again.
Absolutely. Keeping everybody talking about it, that's for sure. And everybody is certainly talking about the NBA this morning with what transpired last night. Also, some recent news. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Michael Jordan is going to be kind of coming into the limelight, I guess you could say, doing some different coverages and stuff like that for NBC next season. What do you think about MJ doing some different things in the NBA world besides playing?
I don't know. Well, let's see how it goes. I kind of like the fact that he retired and then just sort of disappeared. Like,
played a lot of golf.
You only really ever saw him sitting in the Hornets owner's box, and then you saw him on the golf course a little bit, and then the 6-part documentary came out that ESPN did, which was cool and awesome. And I like the fact that you don't see him, and it adds to his legend. So I hope that him being on TV all the time doesn't change any of that, but it probably won't. He should be good.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Last night, another big story. Jason Tatum goes down late in that game. Knicks end up going up 3-1. Tatum's injury, to me, I'm not a doctor, but I did stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. Looks like he tore his Achilles tendon the way his foot kind of stretched, and given all these other recent Achilles tendon tears, now he didn't see anything pop, but the way he kind of immobilized his foot and had to be in a wheelchair going into the tunnel. Obviously, they'll do an MRI today to reveal the extent, but you did call it and said the Knicks would go on to win this series. That's certainly looking more likely now, despite going back up to Boston, especially if Jason Tatum can't play.
Well, and that's the thing about Tatum, man. I have a friend who shall remain nameless that called me last night, and he goes, dude, I'm going to call it right now. He's like, Tatum is going to be fine and play in the next game because that is how he rolls. And I was like, oh, man. And I was like, well, it looked to me like an Achilles. And there's a doctor on Twitter that was like, you could see the shimmering effect in his leg. And that's classic Achilles. And just the way he was holding it and the way he was up, the way he was acting, everything is pointing toward Achilles. But, Paul Pierce got carted off in a wheelchair one time, and it came back the same game. So I really won't put anything past Jason Tatum at this point, but I'm afraid that it's a serious injury. I'm afraid that he's done for these playoffs. I'm afraid that he may miss all of next season. Like it's really a devastating injury if you are a potentially devastating injury for a Celtics fan. I think the fact that Shams hasn't hit us with the news yet. If I'm a Celtics fan and a Tatum fan, then the longer I don't hear anything, the more hope I have that maybe he'll be okay. So
yeah, because they've already done the MRI at this point. Here we are; it's 12:30 in your time zone.
You would think that they had already gotten that done. In fact, I would have been doing it last night. I would have stayed up all night to see what was going on. If there was a chance he was going to be okay, I would have done it all last night. But
yeah,
and I did say take the Knicks to beat the Celtics in this series at plus 500 before it started.
Wish I would have.
So far, that looks like it's going to work out. And then I also said take the Pacers at plus 360. Somehow they are, waxing on the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I'm having a good time. The only thing that is going to mess me up is if my OKC Thunder don't pull this out.
We're locked right now in a 2-2 series with the Denver Nuggets. As you just mentioned, you called the Pacers winning over the Cavs. They are up 3-1 going back to Cleveland in tonight's contest. Do the Pacers close out the series tonight, especially with all those Cavs injuries? Is Donovan Mitchell even playing tonight? I know he was a little banged up from the last game. So do the Pacers close it out tonight back up there in Cleveland?
Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's either going to be a Pacer blowout or they lose a close game. So I like the Pacers plus 7.5. If Mitchell doesn't play, I think I'm going to go with Cleveland is going to pull this out and win the game because it's in Cleveland. It's back against the wall, death game, and then the Pacers can come back and win it at home or lose at home and have to go play Game 7. But nothing's ever a done deal with Indiana and Atlanta sports until it's actually a done deal. So I'm not counting chickens or celebrating, but I do feel like I like the Pacers plus the 7.5. But I think if it's a close game, I think Cleveland wins.
I like it. And then, of course, if Cleveland does win tonight, they would go back home to Indianapolis to potentially close out the series and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second year in a row, but may be playing a different opponent this time, or likely probably playing a different opponent this time than the Boston Celtics. Doc, before we let you go today, I've got to know, give me 2 names that you like for the PGA Championship starting this Thursday.
Oh, man.
I know. I'm all over the place today. You started with the boost story, so I liked it.
I'm going to say Rory, of course, because that's obvious.
He's won 4 times there at Quail Hollow, and his game certainly fits the mold for winning another major championship. And maybe now that the fact that he's got that career Grand Slam off his back, he maybe opens up and plays really well. But hey, you never know. Obviously, Scottie Scheffler will be there too, and I think Bryson DeChambeau is third on the odds because he's just playing as good a golf as anybody as well.
I was going to say Sepp Straka, but he just won.
Yeah.
So I don't like that angle. You know what? I'm going to go with my boy Oberg.
I like it. Yeah, I've been kind of on him for a while. Luckily, I had a bonus bet on Sepp Straka in the Truist last week, and I was starting to sweat it down the end there, but he held on. The Georgia boy held on and pulled it off, and I think it was like 40-1 on a bonus bet. So it was a good Sunday for me this past week.
I don't think we finished up negotiating the loan that you're going to give me.
Yes. Well, after
that big win, you're like, look at this, I won this. And I was like, oh, my God, send me some money. I just had a bad week.
Well, it's making up for some of my other weeks, that's for sure. But it also comes at a good time as we'll be making a trip to Jacksonville quite a bit over the next 3 or 4 weeks. But, hey, those golf bets, it's really you're picking guys you think have a shot to win, but there's still so much to be done to get that over the hump to win a golf tournament just in real life, and then, of course, on the betting side of things as well. But I like that.
That was a great win for you, though. Congrats.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was exciting. And make sure you listen to 2 Off the Tee podcast with Fantasy Six-Pack as me and Keith break down every tournament, give you our picks to win, and then he does a bunch of stuff with DFS, and I kind of zone out for a little while and then come back in to the conversation. Doc, we appreciate your time. Good luck to your Pacers tonight. Hopefully they can get it done and head over to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe get a little rest as well.
All right, man. Let's go. I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good. That is Steve Alexander. You can follow him on Twitter/X. It's Doctora, DOCKTORA. Lots of fantasy information, lots of NBA analysis, and does a great job here for us on the Inside Drive. You are listening to the Inside Drive. We'll be back after this break.
Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.
Windy is here. Brian Windhorst, ESPN NBA Insider, Hoop Collective Podcast.
I wish I was dressed like you guys. I'm jealous. I just want you to know.
Of the hoodies?
Yeah, I just wish.
We're actually wearing the Windy Airport outfit.
That's exactly right. That's exactly the hat pulled very low. And it doesn't matter. People come up to me all the time anyway.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Weekdays 5 to 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction, be part of a winning team.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red royals, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
For the 2025 Atlanta Braves, it's time to dial in, which means every game means a little more.
First pitch, ground ball right side. Diving stop by Ozzie. Got him. Whoa, what a play by Albies.
Tonight, it's another big National League East battle in Atlanta as Austin Riley and the Braves square up against the Washington Nationals.
Braves coverage begins at 6 after the afternoon underdogs. First pitch, 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. Now back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
It's alive! Look alive! We're alive!
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Your home for the Atlanta Braves, right here in the Florida Panhandle. We got a game coming up tonight, right after the afternoon underdogs coverage starts. First pitch will be at 6:15 against those Washington Nationals, right there at Truist Park, with an opportunity again to get to 500. But if that trend continues of the one-loss game, one run win, likely the trend will continue and the Braves will not get to 500. I'm hoping the trend breaks tonight. And of course, we got another game, same time, same place, tomorrow night, Wednesday the 14th, 6 p.m. coverage starts, 6:15 first pitch. They got an 11:15 game on Thursday that will not be aired as it is not a night game or the weekend. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-game series at the Boston Red Sox up there in Fenway Park. Friday, first pitch, 6:10. Coverage starts at 6. Saturday, coverage starts at 5. First pitch at 6:15. And on Sunday, a little matinee affair. Coverage coverage starts at 11:20. First pitch at 12:35. The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored locally by Bill Berg Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and Hometown Towing, as well as Best Way Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, and Brock Pest Control. Appreciate those sponsors bringing you guys the Atlanta Braves every time they have a game, which pretty much seems like every day right now on the streak that they are going with. Piggybacking on Doc A's segment there, love the question too about the booth or table, as that's certainly a discussion and decision you have to make every time you pull up or go into a restaurant. Right now, every series is 3-1 in the NBA except the Thunder and the Nuggets. Thunder and the Nuggets get underway tonight after the Pacers and the Cavaliers. We'll pick games in the final segment. The parallel between the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs is so similar right now, as you got the Jets and the Stars playing tonight. If the Stars win that one, they'll take a 3-1 lead, and then 3 series will be 3-1, and then you have the one series, the Leafs and the Panthers, tied at 2-2. So just got a lot of again, a lot of parallel between those two the two playoffs going on right now, which has certainly been a lot of fun. You've had some really close games, some great games, and then you've had some games that have gotten a little out of hand. Both games last night were fairly close for a little while, and then both kind of got opened up. We'll start with the Washington Capitals. We obviously had Al Carl on the show with us yesterday. I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed, as the Carolina Hurricanes really just dominated this whole game from start to finish. They got out about halfway through the first period and took a 1-0 lead, added another goal very, very early in the second period to take a 2-0 lead. Washington got it to a 1-goal game about 5 minutes into the third period to make it 2-1 Carolina, and just as quickly as they made it 2-1, a few minutes later, Taylor Hall, former New Jersey Devils draft pick, scored to make it 3-1. Ovi got him back to within a goal, 3-2, on a great power play slap shot from his office, where he scores a lot of his goals over there on the left top of the circle. Buried that one on the power play. 3-2, about a little over halfway through the third period, and then unfortunately for if you're a Caps fan, the Carolina Hurricanes added 2 more. Sean Walker scored with about 4 minutes left in the game, and then the Capitals pulled their goalie fairly early because it was a 2-goal deficit at that point. You typically see that a lot when there's a 2-goal deficit late in the period. You pull that goalie just a little bit earlier, kind of that last-ditch desperation move, and Andrei Shevchenkov added an empty netter, and the Carolina Hurricanes won that one 5-2. Is that all she wrote for the Capitals, you think, David? Carolina's just so tough.
I hate it, but yeah, Carolina will find a way to get to the Eastern Conference Finals per usual, and they might be running into a buzzsaw between the Maple Leafs or the Panthers, whoever. Yep. I mean, that series is one of the better ones. It's I guess technically that would be the Edmonton and or not Edmonton, but that would be the Nuggets and Thunder series of the
absolutely
of the NBA.
Great comparison there. Now, was it Panthers Hurricanes last year in the Eastern Conference Finals? I know the Panthers won, so they were obviously in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it was the was it the Lightning?
No,
couldn't have been the Lightning. Couldn't have been the Lightning.
I believe that it was the Hurricanes. Or the Rangers? No, Hurricanes beat the Rangers.
Yes, they did. I guess that was 23-24. This year's been 24-25. All right, conference finals. Oh, no, you're right. It was the Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers.
Okay, so the Rangers did dispatch of the
They
Hurricanes.
Beat them 4-2. Yep. Man. I felt like the Hurricanes went further last year, but they did go to the second round, so they've been in the second round.
They always flirt with it, that's for sure.
No doubt. But, looking forward to that one coming up in a few days. And then the Edmonton Oilers were throwing a little shade to Skinner yesterday when we had Al Carl on talking about how he's just not played that great. Well, guess what he did in response to that? He blanked the Las Vegas Golden Knights as Adam Henrique scored 2 goals in the first period, and then Evander Kane added a 3rd goal in the second period, and they cruised the rest of the way. Skinner had a shutout there as the Edmonton Oilers take a 3-1 series lead with that 3-0 victory last night against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Do you know if Brian Haddad's going to the that game coming up?
Well, his flight is on Wednesday.
And the game's on Wednesday.
Yeah. He thought that it was on Tuesday. We all kind of thought that it was
I guess because they're going back.
Yeah.
They're going back to Vegas for that one. So, they always give that extra day after the first 4 games to get a little extra travel in there. As we were mentioning, the game, I think we just got 1 game in both leagues tonight. That's kind of sad.
So, Pacers, Cavs? And I'm surprised that they've got Pacers, Cavs playing at 6 o'clock then.
Oh, there's two games.
All right, so the other one is going to be Thunder and Nuggets.
Yep, to see who's going to break that 2-2 tie. On the NHL side of things, the Jets and the Stars get underway tonight at 7 p.m. Jets trying to tie it up. Trying to tie it up 2-2. Stars trying to take that commanding 3-1 lead, which is really tough to come back in, especially when you've won a couple games on the road thus far, but they're going home in front of that crowd, that raucous crowd at American Airlines Arena, as Dallas, Texas is a big hub there for American Airlines. So is Charlotte. All right. Wanted to talk about some of these NCAA regionals. We got a lot of favorite teams in the area that are competing. Not in the area, but fans of teams that are competing. We'll start with the Tallahassee Regional. Obviously, Florida State hosting that one. Florida State is way, way ahead of the number 2 team in the standings, the Georgia Bulldogs. Currently, Florida State is 21 under par. Almost done with their second round. They shot 14 under par yesterday with their top 4 scores and are currently 7 under par on their round today. So sitting at 21 under par. Second place in that is Georgia at -8, Ole Miss -7, New Mexico at -1, and then you've got Augusta and Notre Dame tied at even. Top 5 teams from that will advance to the national championship. On the players' side of the leaderboard for the Tallahassee Regional, not to be surprised, but Luke Clanton, who is the number 1 amateur in the world, number 5 ranked player in college golf, is currently 12 under par with a first round 6 under. He's currently 6 under on his round today. That is college golf. These guys are so ridiculous. It's crazy. Buck Brumlow is in second right now at -7. He's a Georgia Bulldog. And then in third place at -5, tied for third, is Gray Albright, also from Florida State, and a big part of why Florida State is currently significantly ahead in the Tallahassee Regional. Again, top 5 teams head over to Carlsbad, California for the national championship. 6 regionals, 30 teams in the national championship. So naturally, you've got 5 from each one. Another dominant performance up there in the Auburn Regional. We'll have Brad Law coming up at 12:20. Probably talk a little bit about this as well. But the number 1 ranked team in the nation, defending national champion Auburn Tigers, shot 13 under par in their first round, are currently 7 under par in their second round. And their holes 13 through 15, they have a 16-shot lead as of now, with number 12 ranked Texas A&M sitting at -4 in second place, followed by UCLA and New Mexico State at -1, and then you've got SMU at +1 right now. That would be your top 5 if the tournament finished at the moment. Still, some teams still have a long way to go in this regional. Auburn probably teed off early because they are the furthest along in the golf course right now. A lot of Ohio State fans in this neck of the woods, so let's see if I can pull up that regional that they're in. I think they're with Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. I am mistaken. Don't quote me on that.
We're talking about the lady regionals right now?
No,
men regionals?
Men's, yeah. The Reno Regional play was suspended on the first day, and it resumed early this morning because it's a few hours behind us there. Where is Ohio State? Maybe Amherst? Well, Amherst currently is got their third round underway already. Maybe they got some weather coming in and they're playing 2 rounds today. But Tennessee, for all you Tennessee fans, are currently tied for first with Vanderbilt at -3, Oklahoma at +1, Arizona at +4, and Florida Gulf Coast would be the other team to make it right now. But the Arkansas Razorbacks are right 1 shot out of that 5th and final position. So that one a long way to go. Obviously, there must be some weather coming in Virginia.
Ohio State is in Baton Rouge.
That's right. They're in the LSU Regional.
They're seeded 6th in the 14-team regional.
Ooh.
Thanks. So how many teams do they have play per regional?
Are you looking, is that baseball? Or is that golf?
No, men's golf team.
Dang. Because I don't see a...
I mean, again, this is a AI overview, so, but I mean, I'm also seeing it from Ohio State official athletics website, Buckeyes ready for Baton Rouge Regional.
Why is that one not pulling up? I got Auburn, Bremerton, Reno, Tallahassee, Amherst, and Urbana. This is from the NCAA website. Is that boys or girls?
It says Ohio State men's. Yeah.
What's going on here? What's going on here?
I'm not sure, because then I go over to NCAA, and yeah, it's I'm not seeing a Baton Rouge regional.
No, that's kind of where I'm living right now. Alabama.
Search it up.
Man, maybe... I thought when we did the picks yesterday, LSU was hosting in baseball, and they were playing, and Ohio State was playing in... or softball was playing. I don't know. Maybe Ohio State's not even in, but they usually are. Why is the internet not working today?
Yeah, I don't know. I could not tell you why that's why it's going down like that. I'm trying to click through these right now. Urbana Regional is the.
Yep. That's the Illinois hosted regional. That's where I thought they were.
It's not there.
To know, I've got all of the regionals pulled up, and neither one of them, or none of them actually, have the Ohio State in there. Yeah, LSU is playing in the Amherst regional in Virginia, and they are currently plus 15 in 11th place. Leaves one more. Where is Bremerton? That is in Washington. And that does not have Ohio State either. Cool.
So they're in the one with Auburn, Virginia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Duke, LSU,
so they're
Louisville,
in the,
Houston,
the
South
Auburn regional. Are they? SC Upstate, Oregon, Loyola, Maryland, TCU. Is that last year's by any chance?
Hold on. Yes.
Okay, that makes perfect. I knew there was something that was breaking us, but it got us to the end of this segment. So
hey, whatever works.
Whatever works, indeed. But
learn how to use Google, David Daggone.
That's all right. It's all right. It happens. It happens.
You shouldn't have to type in 2025.
No, you shouldn't.
Well, this one's the 2025 NCAA Division I Men's Golf Championship Regional Phase will be held from May 12th through the 14th, with the Ohio State Buckeyes participating in the Baton Rouge Regional.
So it's completely on whoever's putting that information out there.
But when you look at the website, when you look at Buckeyes or Ohio State, that's obviously, it says May 1st, 2024 on it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But we got to take a quick break. When we get back, it'll be time to do some afternoon delight debriefs. Again, we've got Brad Law coming up at 12:20.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
I've always railed against Draymond Green. You can't let your emotions get the best of you where you're a detriment. Never understood that. Even coaches. And they're always the ones yelling at you to keep your composure. I had a coach who would yell at me, and then he'd get a technical, and I just wanted to say, how about you, coach?
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 78 with a moderate breeze around 14 miles per hour coming out of the west-southwest. For tonight, clear skies and a low near 72. Tomorrow, a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour, mostly sunny and a high around 81. For Thursday, mostly sunshine and a high of 82. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport. The best place in town to take a leak.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus studios. It's the Inside Drive.
Sky rockets in flight.
And now, the afternoon delight debrief with the three degenerates from the Inside Drive.
Afternoon delight.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Yes, David and I do, in fact, do radio shows every day and rely on the internet to provide content.
This is why I stay away from golf, Ryan.
Yeah. Sorry, I brought you to a sport that, isn't on the top of your radar too often. But, hey, we figured it out together, and here we are.
What did we figure out exactly?
We figured out that we weren't in the right year. But at the same time, when you search something up, I feel like your results should be chronological. That only makes logical sense, but apparently even on the Ohio State Athletic website, it's living in last year's. And we learned that Ohio State didn't make the NCAA regionals this year on the men's side of golf. I think I was thinking of the women's side, as they did host a regional on the women's side of things.
We like to look at things from the perspective of the silver lining. Always try to find the silver lining around here. And so maybe we were getting listeners' hopes who are Ohio State fans.
Yeah.
Maybe we were getting them up. And then we were able to see, exactly. And so to be able to do that to Ohio State fans, I don't think there's anything better.
Well, there you go. There you go. Silver lining, a.k.a. spite. Two things, synonymous sometimes.
A spoonful of spiteful.
That's it. That is it. But you are listening to the Inside Drive. It is 12 o'clock. We are on 104.3 in Panama City and Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. As Jay would say, look at him dance with that football. I haven't heard him say that in quite some time, although that chair has been empty from Jay for quite some time, but he'll be back in studio with us on Friday. You can download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. If you like t-shirts, make sure you download that app, as we've been giving away t-shirts as much as Oprah gives away prizes. But you can't win a t-shirt if you don't have our app downloaded. Again, all you can do is search 104.3 in the Google Play or Apple Store. You can
it's like the dadgum Jersey Shore around here. T-shirt time.
Yeah, T-shirt time. Everybody clap your hands. I don't know why I went that direction, but it felt right. It felt right. But also, head over to ESPNPC.com. You can listen live there, but if you're tired of getting nickeled and dimed by all these streaming companies, Scorpion TV does not do that. With code ESPNNW, only $45 per month. That gets you over 5,000 streaming channels on demand. All these crazy NFL games that are on 100 different networks, it seems like, that's all right there on Scorpion TV. All the pay-per-view events, and if you're a movie buff, over 10,000 movies on demand. Watching some of these highlights. As the center, you have to cover the front of the net. NHL guys leaving guys open in the front of the net just drives me crazy, because that's what they pound into your head as a kid, playing defense or playing center. Somebody's got to pick up the front of the net, because that's where the majority of the goals are scored. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We appreciate everybody that's downloaded our mobile app. We appreciate everybody that's signed up for Scorpion TV. Be on the lookout, too. All the Best of Bay nominations are starting to pop up. So hopefully all three of the shows here on ESPN Northwest Florida were nominated. And I know the voting starts for the top 5 on June 5th or 2nd. Something like that. But anyway, we'll keep you posted on all of that stuff. I do want to kind of go a different direction. For those who know me, my wife on Facebook, Beth has taken on this, I don't want to say task, but this kind of journey of posting something every day for Go Gray in May for brain cancer awareness. And the cool thing, she's been doing this and different topics every day, is she's had tons of people in the Facebook world reach out to her saying, oh, my husband, my brother, my somebody has brain cancer, and without your post, wouldn't have really known what to do. I'm going to go through, and I wish I would have started this earlier, because there's been a lot of great information.
I love reading those. I hate to say I love reading
I 100% know what you mean. Yeah.
Knowing you guys the way that I do know you, and the strength that it takes for her to do what she does, and the awareness that she that she's able to pass on, and then also for the people who are reading about you guys' stories, and there's things that happen that are synonymous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like things that y'all have been through, they've been through, and then, you grow friendship, and you also spread awareness, which is absolutely huge with this devastating disease.
No doubt, no doubt. And, and that's why I'm going to start reading some of this information over the air because, people listening may know somebody. And yesterday she had a great one about symptoms that you may not even realize. And I didn't even realize symptoms until, after the fact. I just thought my headaches all the time were from allergies and looking at a computer screen too much. And now looking back, I realized that was probably a symptom of something. But I'm going to read today's, day 13, Go Gray in May for Brain Cancer Awareness, in honor of my fighter, Ryan Mulvey, and now also in honor of my mother. Today, we are headed to Jacksonville, Florida to begin preparation for Ryan's next round of treatment, proton radiation and chemotherapy. These appointments will be full of meetings, doctors, counselors, and specialists who are walking us through everything we need to know, creating his new radiation mask and preparing us for what to be done before treatment officially begins. Once everything is in place, we'll head back to Jacksonville soon, 5 days for treatment, home for the weekend, and then 5 more days back in Jacksonville. This is our new normal, fighting to survive. But I want to be real about what that actually means, because it's not just the medical part, it's everything around it. And it's one of the hardest parts, watching how this impacts our children. Both of our kids are in sports right now, teams they love, teammates they look up to, and games and practices that give them joy and purpose. But while we're gone, we will miss those games, those moments. There's a very real chance that they'll look up into the stands and not see us there. This breaks my heart in ways I can't put into words, because right now is when they need us the most. They're at the age where they crave our presence, our praise, our attention, and they deserve it. But cancer doesn't just take away from the person diagnosed, it takes away from everyone around them. And while we're very open and honest with our kids about what Ryan is going through, the truth is, this is something no child should have to carry. They understand far more than they should, and the emotional burden they hold, the quiet things they never say out loud, is heartbreaking. This is a battle they never chose to fight, yet here they are in it with us. So if you see our kids at a game or an event and just shout and just out and about, please show up for them, give them a high five, cheer for them a little louder, let them know they are seen and supported. This kind of love doesn't go unnoticed, and it stays with them, and of course stays with us. To those who have recognized this struggle, not just for Ryan, not just for me, but for our kids, and have asked if they can help, thank you. Yesterday I had lunch, again this is Beth's writing, yesterday I had lunch with a kind woman from our community who asked how people can support us financially. Those conversations are never easy because we don't like asking for help. Honestly, even accepting help is hard. It's just not who we are. But this journey has taught us humility. It has shown us how deeply people want to help and how much every gesture matters. From the meals to the rides to the hugs to the donations, we feel it all. Every dollar donated goes towards stays, travels, expenses, medical bills. The parts of this fight that no one sees, and it matters more than I'll ever be able to say. A ton of times when a diagnosis first happens, support floods in, but over time, the support naturally fades. To those who have stayed, who continue to check in, continue to pray, continue to care, you are holding us up. To everyone who has supported us, not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, thank you. You're helping carry us in ways you could never fully see. And obviously, I feel that sentiment wholeheartedly, exactly. And again, I always say thank y'all so much for and Beth put it perfectly there in the final sentence. You are certainly holding us up and carrying us in ways that you may never fully see. And that's certainly the truth. Appreciate everyone here in Bay County. It is certainly a wonderful place to be. Obviously, I will not be on the air tomorrow or Thursday. And I know Max Delighten will be filling in. James Fife will be in studio as well.
Yeah, it'll be James, Max, and myself. And then on Thursday, it'll be James, Paul, and myself.
Nice, because Brian's coming back.
Yeah, actually, Brian has something going on, so yeah.
Okay, cool. So I appreciate everybody filling in on that one as well. All right, we'll pivot to the Afternoon Delight debriefs.
AG says, we love our Ryan.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely true, man.
I just always, tried to walk every day as kind as I could, and, who would have known that, just being kind would have foreshadowed to all the kindness and love we've received back. And it's certainly humbling to know that there's so many people that care. And, without that care, this would be a hell of a lot tougher. All right, we're going to pivot, this is kind of awkward, to the zone of death. This is in Yellowstone National
Real quick comments coming in. Ohio Brad says, I don't even know how you could read that on air without crying. Stronger than me. And I mean, that's Ryan Mulvey in a nutshell for you. Guys, being able to see the behind the scenes.
Well, I mean, I've read it a couple times already today, and there may have been, some tears during those.
Yeah.
And I just, I try to keep as reading it on the air doesn't keep my mind off it, of course.
Right.
But I just try to stay distracted, for a lack of a better term. I just look forward to every sporting event, every game, all the time I get to spend with Beth now. Of course, doing the radio keeps my mind off it as well, but it's just one of those things. I've got other people that I have to be stronger for than just myself. So that's kind of how I'm trying to live every day right now. But we'll be heading to Duval a bunch over the next several weeks. But anyway, found this little gem on social media.
Here we go.
And then found it on Wikipedia. It's called the Zone of Death, which is part of the Yellowstone National Park.
Ooh.
The Zone of Death is a 50-square-mile area in the Idaho section of Yellowstone National Park, in which, a result of the vicinage clause in the Constitution of the United States, a person may be able to theoretically avoid conviction for a major crime up to and including murder. Wild stuff.
Murder.
Yeah, murder indeed. The loophole, the United States District Court for the District of Wyoming, is currently the only United States district courts to have jurisdiction over parts of multiple states. By reason of its jurisdiction, including all of Yellowstone's National Park, which extends slightly beyond Wyoming's boundaries into Idaho and Montana. In this regard, the federal government has exclusive jurisdiction over the park, so crimes committed in the park cannot be prosecuted under any of the state's laws. Trials in the district court are normally held at the federal courthouse in Cheyenne, Wyoming. However, the Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution decrees that those accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed. That was obviously, kind of a quick part of the Constitution that they pulled out. Because of this, charges for a crime alleged to be committed in that area of the park in Idaho would have to be tried before a jury consisting of entirely residents of that area. Since the Idaho portion of the park is uninhabited, a jury of residents of both the state and district could not be impaneled. As the Constitution guarantees the right to a jury trial, which is specified 3 separate times in Article 3, Section 2 of the 6th and 7th Amendment. A defendant facing any felony or misdemeanor charge would be able to receive a constitutional trial, therefore could not be legally punished, regardless of their guilt or innocence. This constitutional loophole was discovered by Michigan State University law professor Brian C. Kalt while he was planning to write an essay about the technicalities of the Sixth Amendment, which entitles criminal defendants to a fair and quick trial. Kalt wondered about a hypothetical place where there was not enough eligible citizens to form a jury and theorized that there could be no trial and therefore no punishment for major crimes in that area. He later realized that there was such a place, the Idaho section of the Yellowstone National Park. Horrified by this realization, Kalt shifted his focus to writing an essay about the area to persuade the government to fix this loophole. The essay, which was called The Perfect Crime, was published back in 2005 in the Georgetown Law Journal. Kalt feared that criminals might read this essay and commit a crime in the zone before the loophole was fixed. That's kind of what I'm still thinking about right now. Popular discussion is often alleged that crime is legal in the zone, though Kalt has clarified that the problem instead represents a reason why it might be harder to prosecute someone for it successfully. A minor crime committed in the zone that does not require a jury trial would still be subject to prosecution. In addition, a felony committed in the zone would still be potentially the subject to civil litigation, and a criminal code could be prosecuted on conspiracy charges related to the planning and the crime and traveling into the zone. I wonder if there's been a dateline about crime that's committed in that zone.
And that zone, I don't know, but it seems like a heck of an opportunity for a documentary. I want to make a documentary one day. I've got 2 ideas.
It's funny you should say that. Population Zero, a 2016 mockumentary about a murder in that area. And then This Is America, a 2019 episode of ABC's legal drama For the People. And then the main plot of a novel for Free Fire, written by C.J. Bach, centers on 4 murders that occur in the zone of death. All those are fictional. There's not an actual thing. It doesn't look like anything's transpired yet that we know. Speaking of getting in trouble with the law, Chiefs fan known as Chiefsaholic.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to 32 years in prison for a 2022 robbery. There's a documentary on this one, so I think it's called Chiefsaholic.
Probably.
Might be on Netflix. But
it embodies what it is, right?
Yeah, no doubt. The Kansas City Chiefs fan who earned the moniker Chiefsaholic was sentenced to 32 years in prison for a bank robberies in 22 and 23, according to ESPN's Elizabeth Merrill and David Purdom. This will run concurrently with the 17 years and 6 months Xavier Babudar will serve in federal prison. As part of the federal case, he pleaded guilty in February 2024 to 1 count of each bank robbery, money laundering, and transporting stolen property across state lines. This March, Babudar pleaded guilty in an Oklahoma court to robbery with a firearm, assault while masked or disguised, and removing an electronic monitoring device. Those charges related to the December 22 robbery at a branch of the Tulsa Teachers Credit Union in Bixby, Oklahoma, in which he used a CO2 pistol to threaten a bank teller and stole $150,000. All told, Babudar admitted to 11 robberies across 7 states. Tulsa County District Attorney Steve Kunzweiler pushed for the court to give him a life sentence. My preference was for him to serve the rest of his life in prison, he said. Per Merrill and Purdom, he caught another break today, but at least he's going to be serving some more additional time. And my thoughts are with the victims who continue to be tormented by his violence.
He said he wanted a life sentence, or the state attorney wanted?
The state attorney wanted a life. My preference was for him to serve the rest of his life in prison. Babudar's case briefly garnered national attention thanks to a persona he built through his Chiefs fandom. He had become a reoccurring character during broadcast thanks to the distinctive wolf costume.
Yeah.
I know everybody's certainly seen him. I believe there is a documentary on him as well. But moral of the story, don't rob banks. I think that's like a given, though, right?
I mean, unless you're playing Grand Theft Auto, yeah.
Fair.
You know, if you are playing Grand Theft Auto, the video game.
Fictional.
Yeah.
That is fictional.
Then, do what you do. You can set up heist, all that kind of stuff. Just realize that keep that in the video game.
Yeah.
Keep that in the video game. When you're out here in the real world, just treat people with love and respect. They'll go a long way.
Especially when you're such a known, famous person in the Kansas City and NFL world.
But I don't even think all of those were in Kansas City.
No,
right?
they were all over the area.
That's why he was getting the money to go to the games.
Yeah, well,
and stuff. I mean, hey, hustler's got to hustle.
It
right?
ain't cheap to go to NFL games, that's for sure. But certainly,
Chiefsaholic documentary is called Chiefsaholic: A Wolf in Chiefs Clothing.
That's
very catchy. That last part right there.
A pun on a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah,
a wolf in Chiefs clothing, which is exactly what he was.
But so I wonder how much he was known. Like when he didn't have the wolf mask on, though.
Chris Fall texted in, Chiefsaholic, our fans go the extra mile to see games with better seats.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't say anything about the fan base not being passionate.
Facts.
But hey, don't rob banks though. All right, real quick, I want to get this one in.
Just a little public service announcement.
PSA: don't rob banks. The people that work at the banks would appreciate you not robbing the banks.
I think the people who have money in those banks would appreciate you not robbing the banks.
Don't take their lock boxes and that. Do people still do that at banks where they have like the safety deposit box? I've never had one either.
I think you got to have something in there, right?
Yeah, your diamonds and your emeralds and all that stuff.
Most of the time, I have to be paying the bank back for withdrawals.
Yeah, I understand. I hope I pronounced this name correctly. The title of this article is Texas Cats Viral Quinceañera, or Quinceañera. I don't know. Quinceañera, I think that's it, ends up saving a local rescue group. A Houston woman celebrated her cat's 15th birthday with a quinceañera, I guess that's the word
like
for
a birthday
15th birthday.
Yeah.
Because quince is Spanish for 14, quince is Spanish for 15. That went viral online and ended up saving a local animal rescue group. Miranda Gonzalez said she had been dreaming of throwing a quinceañera for her cat, Holly Marie Gonzalez. Sounds like an Alabama name where you always have the 3 separate names in there. Ever since getting the feline as a kitten 15 years ago. It's always been a dream of mine since she was little, Gonzalez told the Dodo. I wanted to celebrate our life together and show everyone my love for her. She started planning in earnest when Holly was approaching her 14th birthday. It took me months to plan, Gonzalez said. I had friends and family as well as padrinos, which were people who helped donate to the event. So there you go. She got some donations for her cat's quinceañera. The party ended up having a grand ensign in Holly in a remote-controlled Bentley. The cat drove in a remote-controlled Bentley. A father-daughter
Rode
dance.
in.
Yeah.
Because it's remote-controlled.
Fair. The cat
Cats
didn't drive
don't got thumbs.
Do they have dew claws like dogs?
Yeah, they do kind of. They're like up there a little bit. Yeah, nice. They do have dew claws.
They do. But anyway, Holly in a remote-controlled Bentley, a father-daughter dance, an elaborate cake, and even a full mariachi band, who said it was their first time playing at a quinceañera for a cat. It was a quinceañera. I really wanted to go out to celebrate all my love for her, Gonzalez told KHO-TV. The celebration served as a fundraiser for struggling animal rescue, Almost Home Cat Vision. Videos Gonzalez posted online ended up going viral, causing donations to the rescue to skyrocket. So the moral of the story is they did the quinceañera, but it ended up donating some money, some significant money.
Well, good.
I
mean, if people are donating to you for a cat, then I think that's a good idea to donate back right there. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Win-win situation for everyone. And the cat, I'm sure, was just through the roof about the party.
It was excited. Speaking of excited.
Oh, I can't believe all you guys showed up for me. Woo!
We got to take a quick break. When we get back, it'll be time to talk with broadcast director of the Auburn Sports Network, Brad Law.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. The Celtics are 2 things. 1, excellent front office. Secondly, the formula. And I'm watching Tatum, and he's such a nice guy. And he is such a collaborative guy that the beneficiary sometimes he just melts into the fabric.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida. Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Tuesday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a wind coming out of the west-southwest around 14 miles per hour and 78. Tonight, look for a gentle breeze and clear skies with a temperature near 72. Tomorrow, a high around 81 and mostly sunshine with a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. Thursday, quite warm with a high of 82 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
For the 2025 Atlanta Braves, it's time to dial in, which means every game means a little more.
First pitch, ground ball right side. Diving stop by Ozzie. Got him. Whoa, what a play by Albies.
Tonight, it's another big National League East battle in Atlanta as Austin Riley and the Braves square up against the Washington Nationals.
Braves coverage begins at 6 after the afternoon underdogs. First pitch, 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios, it's the Inside Drive. Live from the 19th hole.
I can't believe you're a professional golfer. I think you should be working at the snack bar.
It's the Inside Drive.
The price is wrong.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
You know what time it is? I feel like I haven't talked to this fine gentleman in quite some time, as there's been several Tuesdays, because we go every other Tuesday, and there's been several Tuesdays that I've not been in studio, but so excited to have him back on. So much going on in the Auburn sports world, a little bit related to football, but all the other sports currently shining right now as well, and that is our good friend of the show, Brad Law. Brad, how are you doing on this Thursday?
Who is this really?
Right.
No, we're doing great. It is good to talk to you again, and man, what a beautiful day. A lot to be thankful for.
No doubt. Beautiful day indeed. We'll start right into it. Auburn softball with a great regular season. Kind of recap the season that the ladies had at the beautiful stadium that they play in.
Well, I love your positivity, and I love the encouragement. It was a first year with new co-head coaches, Chris and Kate Malvo.
Yep.
There were some areas that were just better than we've seen here in probably 6 years. Auburn was a better offensive team than it has been in 6 or 7 years, literally. The pitching struggled at times, but they made some progress late. They won 3 of their last 4 series to close the regular season, and they were the last place team in the SEC. But you wouldn't really think so watching them play the last month of the season. So they're headed to Tallahassee for regionals this weekend, a familiar place for Auburn, very familiar. And will be interesting to see what they could do and if they can make any noise here in the postseason. Definitely trending the right direction.
Absolutely. Kind of, played their way, so to speak, into a nice regional spot with the way they played the last month or so of the season. What does Auburn have to do? Obviously, Florida State, a powerhouse when it comes to softball. They did not win their ACC tournament this year, but they've had 18 total ACC tournament championships, which is 3 more than the 15 other combined by all the rest of the schools in that conference.
Yeah.
What does Auburn have to do to come out of that regional and potentially go to a super regional?
Find a way to get consistent pitching for multiple games, and that's been the trouble this year. There was such an emphasis on improving the hitting, and pitching will get there, but it's a little further behind. So if they can find a way to, you feel okay about them being able to hit. I think being in games late, if it's close late, Auburn had 20 come from behind wins this year, which is the most in the country. So they kind of had a knack for hang around. Even in their SEC tournament game, they lost 3-2 to Alabama, but they had the tying run on base in the last inning. So they're a battle right down to the end. So can you keep it close early and have a shot late in games? And, then maybe the experience of being in all those close games pays off for them.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what I was kind of thinking. These teams that find a way to come back and win in a lot of these games, it gives you that confidence that even when you go down, you still have a shot to come back. And that's the beauty about baseball and softball is, you can go on these quick little runs. You can score 7-8 runs in an inning kind of on the drop of a hat and play yourself either to win the game or to come back in a game.
Yeah, and whether you're talking softball or baseball, there's pressure on the host school. The later a game goes and the host is either trailing or it's a close game, the pressure starts to mount a little bit. It's a very different feeling being at home. You obviously want to be at home, and there are more advantages than disadvantages to being the home team, but the pressure does get a little different now. It is heavier on the home team if a game is close or they are trailing the later it gets.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the Auburn baseball team, a fantastic season. Did fairly well in the SEC, especially compared to last season. But how do they stand going into the SEC tournament, which is starting, this week coming up?
Yeah, it starts next week. We still have 1 series to go in the regular season. That's Ole Miss this weekend. Game tonight against Jacksonville State, as long as the weather holds off, and we think that it will. This team is 16-11 in SEC play. It has only lost 2 conference series. They were swept at Georgia, swept at Texas, back before Texas lost their Friday night starter for the rest of the season. They've won every other series besides that. They swept South Carolina over the weekend and scored the most ever runs an Auburn baseball team has scored in a conference series in doing so. Double digits all 3 games, 24-2 in the opener. Butch Thompson's teams, he's been there a decade now, and every year his teams round into form in May, and they peak at this time of the year. 22 or 19 was a great case of that. They didn't even host a regional in 19, but they made it to Omaha. 22 the same. 21 they struggled. In May they won a couple of series. In 22 they made it to Omaha. 23 they hosted a regional again and closed out the season with 8 of 9 league wins. Last year they struggled again, but won 2 series to close the season. So this is what they do, and so they've put themselves squarely in a position to host. I think they could lose out and still host a regional, but if they could win 2 of the 4 games this week, I think they're in a prime spot to be a top 8 national seed. Their RPI is number 2. Their strength of schedule is number 1. They have very quietly risen to one of the top spots in the country.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was going to be my follow-up question to that question about how they've been playing is, do you think they're going to be hosting a regional? But sounds like one way or the other, they certainly have the opportunity there to host a regional at Plainsman Park. And what a better treat for all the Auburn alumni, fans, students, all those people to have that right there in Auburn. That would be a special, special treat. And that's what you look for this time of year. You know, you're looking to host a regional. That means you're near the top of with all the other teams in the country. And Auburn's pitching significantly better than last year?
Yeah, it is. I think the offense being better has made more of a difference, but there's no doubt that Auburn wouldn't be where it is now without Samuel Dutton, the transfer from LSU.
Yeah.
He's 4-1 in SEC starts, so he's a quarter of their wins. He's earned the win in those, and he's just been so consistent on Friday nights throughout this season. And a team with a consistent Friday night starter can do a lot of damage. That's what Auburn has had. Was a 2-pitch reliever at LSU and transferred to Auburn, and now has 5 pitches that he mixes very well, and is a leader off the field just as much as he is on. You add in some really fantastic freshmen in Andreas Alvarez and Christian Chatterton and Ryan Hetzler, who's a sophomore closer, transfer from Cal Baptist. They did a really good job of identifying portal guys throughout the country. Like this team had a top 10 high school recruiting class and a top 10 portal class. So you knew the talent was there. It was just a matter of, can they all find their spot and settle into their roles, and could they produce the way that you thought they had the potential to produce, and they have to this point.
It seems like that the big 3 sports, that high school class, transfer portal class, basketball, baseball, and football, Auburn seems to be kind of moving the needle in all those particular, with obviously football's been doing great, basketball's been fantastic, and now baseball with those top classes as well. What do you attest that to? Is it because Auburn's got such a good amount of those NIL dollars kind of pushing this stuff, or is it the coaching? Is it the overall atmosphere? Can you put your finger on one thing on why Auburn's been so successful in the big 3 sports of getting those top classes, both recruiting, high school, and transfer portal?
Well, I think it's an attractive place to be, and I'm biased, obviously, but yeah, I think it's a combination of all of those things. When you come to Auburn to compete, especially now with the renovations to Plainsman Park. So if you're a baseball, basketball, or football player, the venue in which you practice and or play is among the best in the country. The environment in which you practice and play is among the best in the country. You will compete for championships, as baseball and basketball are showing now, and as football has shown in its not very distant past. Like, we're trying to get back to that point. And you're not going to have to sacrifice anything. The NIL is there. The student experience is there. All of the support structures that are in place outside of game day are there. And it's just a great place to live. and put down some roots, or just have a college experience without the roots. It's an attractive place to be for all those reasons, without sacrificing any of them.
Yeah, the trifecta of reasons why you should come to Auburn and showcase your sports. Speaking of showcasing your sport ability, the number 1 ranked Auburn Tigers, who are hosting the Auburn Regional for the NCAA Golf Championships, playing some ridiculously good golf again, kind of been the theme last year and this year. They're currently 19 under par, almost finished with their second round. One more round to go tomorrow. And like I've been saying all week, although it's just Tuesday, top 5 from each regional move on to the national championship. And currently Auburn is 19 under par. Next closest, Texas A&M at 6 under par, and looking good. I know they still have basically one more full round to go, but if they just do what they know how to do, they should be moving on to try to defend their national championship out there in Carlsbad.
Yeah, all right. If you've got the live scoring in front of you,
I do.
How many teams are under par?
4, and under par 3, because UCLA is even.
Okay, that's when I hear A&M at 6 under on this course. It's at the Auburn University Club.
Yep.
So Auburn is hosting it. That's a really hard course. I mean, like Auburn won it 2 or 3 years ago with a 1 under. It's an exceptionally difficult course for these college guys. So I hear A&M 6 under. That's a really good first 2 days for Texas A&M. The fact that Auburn is 19 under, it's hard. And I know, like the Auburn guy talking about, you kind of roll your eyes and go, yeah, okay, whatever. No.
Yeah.
For context, 19 under on that course is otherworldly. Like you should think it's a glitch.
Yep.
It's that unlikely. Auburn has, I think, 3 individual players who by himself would be in second place behind the Auburn team score.
Yep. You've got.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you got three Auburn players first and tied for second, so obviously that's why they're winning. But you got Jackson Koivuun, who's 7 under par himself. That would be second place. And then you've got Carson Baca and Brendan Valdez, who are both 6 under par as well.
Yeah.
So just ridiculous golf coming from those Auburn Tigers. And yes, Ryan Dykes, who used to work with down here at Camp Creek Golf Club, he's the head superintendent up there at the Auburn University Club. I think he's still there, but does a wonderful job, and a very, very difficult golf course is what he always tells me.
I'll say this again. I may have made this comparison on the show before. I don't remember, and I say this respectfully toward the former Alabama football coach. The closest thing the SEC has to Nick Saban is not another football coach in the league. It's not a basketball coach. It's Nick Kleiner at Auburn. The way he recruits, the way he challenges and coaches, his dedication to discipline, and what he expects from his players and what he breeds within the program. Nick Kleinert is the closest thing we have in the SEC across all sports to what Nick Saban was at Alabama.
Absolutely, and he's done a wonderful job there for the Auburn Tigers and trying to go back-to-back national championships. Obviously, a lot of golf still to go to get to that position, but if you win your regional and can be a high-up seed there going into the grueling national championship schedule, that's a good spot to be in. And, of course, several of these guys played in the national championship last year, so that's a good advantage when it's on a fairly new not new golf course, but they renovated it, maybe opened it up a little too early last year for the national championship as it was firm, fast, balls were bouncing off those greens. Hopefully a little softer this year. And obviously, of course, we can remember last year, I think it was Jackson Koivuun that hit the shot that went past the green and luckily wasn't right behind a tree. Maybe we won't see as much this year with that over there in Carlsbad at the Omni La Costa Resort and Spa. Haven't asked you about football in quite some time, Brad, as it's been a while since we talked. I'm assuming spring practice kind of come to an end already. Is that yeah? So how did the overall spring sessions go there for the Auburn Tigers?
I think it was good. I think by design it was different, and it's going to continue to look different for college football. We're evolving as a sport. So Hugh Freeze has talked publicly about a desire to go to more of an NFL style teaching period or OTAs and kind of do away with what we have traditionally understood as spring practice. They had more teaching days. They had a little less contact, and that was all by design. So I think it went the way the coaches wanted it to. There is no question going into the fall that Jackson Arnold is the starting quarterback. Auburn should have 2 of the top 5 maybe receivers in the league, and all those young guys who played on defense last year are a year older. So we're going to go into it with high expectations, as we often do, and expect to see some more growth in a year 3. And the coaches know we need a few more wins. We've seen wins everywhere within the program except that on-field record. Everywhere within the program. And so this is the year kind of that you would expect naturally to see a bump in wins on the field.
No doubt. We are certainly looking forward to it. And, there's a new piece to Jordan-Hare Stadium as well, a giant Jumbotron in the other end zone, correct?
Yep, it's going up, and they're doing good work on it. It'll be finished before the season starts. It's going to mirror the big Jumbotron in the north end zone. Or rather, it's going up in the north end zone. It's going to mirror the one in the south end zone. It's going to look a little funny this first year because they're building it with the plan of finishing it before this season, and then after this season, adding some more luxury areas to that end zone. So it's going to look like it's, there's a lot of wasted space. It's not wasted space. There is a plan for it. And so we like that. It'll be good to bring a little balance to that stadium. That end zone hasn't been renovated in 40 or 50 years. So it's time for something new. Yeah,
no doubt. Well, Brad, we appreciate your time as always. Hopefully all these teams, all the different Auburn teams that are currently in the postseason or going close to the postseason can have great runs and maybe another national championship or 2 for those Auburn Tigers.
I'd love to still be talking to you about the baseball season in 2 weeks, like an ongoing season. That would be really great.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Brad, for your time, and we'll talk in 2 weeks, hopefully about baseball.
You got it, guys. War Eagle to the Auburn fans on the coast.
Absolutely. That's Brad Law. He's the Director of Broadcast Operations for the Auburn Sports Network. You guys are listening to The Inside Drive. Final segment on this Tuesday coming up next.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
The Atlanta Braves are cooking. Riley in, Olsen in. Here comes Fairchild. He's in as well. Tie game. Tonight, the Braves return to Truist Park to face the Washington Nationals. Coverage coming up at 6. First pitch at 6:15. Listen in a rich audio experience on your spot for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
What does it take to live an uncommon life? Here's former Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy with today's uncommon moment.
I used to get questions from people all the time about how I could justify working in the football world and being a Christian. It's such a violent game. What about all that bad language? How can you justify playing games on Sunday? Without a doubt, spending time in a locker room or on a football field definitely has its moments of being in the world. But I've also come to realize that God can only use us in the world if in fact we are in the world. The tension that may arise there requires godly wisdom and the Holy Spirit's leading. Stay close to God and let His wisdom and leading guide you.
New York Times best-selling author Tony Dungy, author of the popular Uncommon book series. More at CoachDungy.com. That's CoachDungy.com.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. Spreads, picks, and parlays. Get the breaking news, insider angles, and expertise so you can run your game.
I told y'all to run that.
And now the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey, ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You listen to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Softball gets back underway tonight here in Bay County. We will start with the 2A state championships. We got the regional semifinals, and unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, North Bay Haven and Bozeman will clash tonight. That is at North Bay Haven, 7 p.m. first pitch. Game time getting underway. That'll move one team on to the regional final here from Bay County, and unfortunately, one of the teams will be going home tonight. On the other side of the Region 1 2A state championship part of the bracket, you've got Baldwin at the Episcopal School. Winner of that game will take on the winner of the North Bay Haven Bozeman game with a trip to the Final Four on the line. Good luck to both the Bozeman Bucks and the North Bay Haven Buccaneers.
Yeah.
As we will have a one version of the Bucks moving on to the regional final.
Will it have the K or not?
Ooh, that is the question.
Or antlers.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
Would the softball team be the Bucks or would they be the Does?
Ooh, fair question.
I mean, that is fair, right?
That's
Actually
100%
speaking.
fair. Yeah. Because
you can't call them Lady Bucks. That's just way too 2025, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we are 2025, so go on ahead there, brother.
That is confusing, and I don't really know what to think about that. But I know what to think about in the 4A state championship bracket. Region 1, Arnold will be traveling. They probably already are traveling to Baker County tonight. Winner of that game, that's the 4 and the 1 seed. 1 seed being Baker County. They beat Choctaw 12-2. Arnold beat Clay 10-1, and they'll be going against each other tonight in the regional semifinal with a trip to the Region 1 finals on the line. That'll be at 6 p.m. if Max Preps is correct. Always look on GoFan. That's what I've learned, that GoFan typically has the right time in the right time zone for what you're looking for. It's one of the few areas that you got to kind of bounce back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, because we're, 30 minutes away from, well, I guess from here, what are we, about 45 minutes?
Yeah, because you got to drive up and around the St. Andrew Bay.
No, because it takes me about 35 minutes to get to Callaway.
Yeah,
so
plus another... Yeah, well, we'll be doing it here shortly, so I'll let you know.
Oh, there you go.
I'll let you know. As we drive past the studio, I'll hit the timer
That's
button.
one thing I miss about doing awnings, though, is because I was all over the place, from Mariana to Destin, 38. I mean, I was out and about every day, and it was nice being able to see all different parts of the city and whatnot.
Is there another state that has a time zone division?
Yeah. There's I want to say Indiana.
Okay.
Is one that some is central and then some of it is eastern. It's right in that area. And then I'm sure that you have states that as well.
Oh, snap. There's a bunch.
Yeah, because there's got to be, because you have, like, the states isn't the...
Yeah, but
like New Mexico, I believe, is where it goes from central time or from mountain time to Pacific time.
Dang, there's a lot. There's 5, 10, 15 states.
Yeah,
that
that
have
makes sense.
Multiple time zones within them.
Does any of them have more than one, though? I don't think that there's... I don't think that there could be that.
Which states have...
Or more than two is what I meant to say. So you'd have 3 time zones. That's probably like a China thing.
Which states? No, I want more than 2 time zones, not more than one.
While you're doing states, I'll do country. We'll do quiet Googling time here on the Inside Drive.
Just pretend you're with us here in the studio. No, it doesn't list out the more than 2 time zones. I'm a little disappointed about that because I'd like to know that answer. That's a good trivia question.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few that have more than one. I don't know why I thought it was just Florida. Maybe because this is the first state I've lived in that has more than 1 time zone. California just has 1 time zone.
Canada has 6 time zones. How do they have 6 time zones when we're in the same, like...
Because they stick out way farther than we do on both sides, especially on the western side. I think they've got several over there. But yeah, Canada's very wide from east to west. All right.
Russia has 11.
Commies. They're like, oh, we need another time zone. Let's create it. Oh, goodness. I wonder if they'll ever change the time zone situation here with the fall back and spring forward.
Yeah, no, we need to just spring forward year-round, right?
Yeah, just stay. Once we do one of them, we just stay.
I think I would prefer to be in December and be able to see the sun going down at 5:50 rather than by the time I get out of here, or by the time that we get to hour number 2, it's dark as all can be.
The sun is set on the afternoon underdogs.
Which is weird. This was like the first year where I wasn't like, man, I'm ready for the sun to be up longer.
Yeah.
It wasn't, or be out longer. It wasn't as big of a deal this year to me as what it's been in the past, where I'm like, I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, you're getting older and things are, maybe not as important and priorities,
there you go.
et cetera.
Still important to me, though, that we just, let's stick with one.
Yeah, just do it. It's got to be passed, but, we'll see what happens. On the other side of the State 4A Region 1 part of the championship bracket, you've got Fort Walton Beach will be hosting Columbia. That is the 2 and 3 seed. Winner of that, again, will go on to face the winner of the 1 and 4 seed, which is Baker County and Arnold. So good luck to all the local teams still playing in the state championship.
I hate to bring this back up, but United States actually has 11 time zones. So we have the Mountain Time Zone, Central Time Zone, Eastern Time Zone.
The big
then you
three,
have
and then the Pacific Time Zone.
Wake Island, Guam, and the Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific. Then you got most of the state of Alaska, which is on AKT, which looks to be an hour behind Pacific
you got
time.
Hawaii, too?
Hawaii, which is an hour behind Alaskan time. American Samoa, Jarvis Island, Kingman Reef, Midway Atoll, and Palmyra Atoll, which is, 3 hours behind Pacific time. And then you have Baker Island and Howland Island, which is AOE in parentheses. Not entirely sure what that means,
AOE.
but that's the time zone that is called AOE. And that is an hour behind the ST, which is American Samoa, Jarvis Island. Yeah, so 11 time zones
Look at
there.
that.
So commies.
If you don't learn something on the Inside Drive every day, then you are clearly not listening enough, because we always go into some kind of tangent about some kind of factual trivia question. We're just trying to get you ready for all the trivia that's around this area at different restaurants. So
there's a great restaurant. It's not a restaurant, more of a class, I guess, if you will, on Thursdays.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a fun trivia. I've been there quite a few times. So.
Nice. If I ever go to a sports trivia thing, I'm taking Brian Haddad.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like before 1990.
Yeah.
That's all him.
But it's not just sports trivia. It's all kind of trivia. He's a wealth
of knowledge. He's like an encyclopedia in his head there.
So, Mayor, if you're listening, let's get that place signed up here with us.
Yes, absolutely. Split it with both Inside Drive and the Afternoon Underdogs.
Dude, I don't care which drive. It could be solely Inside Drive. I'll talk about it on the Afternoon Underdogs.
There you go. Games tonight, David Hayes. 2 basketball and 1 hockey. First basketball game is your Indiana Pacers at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They can close out the series tonight despite the Cavs being a 7.5-point favorite. I am right there with Doc. 7.5 points. Just why are you giving a team that's playing a team with a bunch of injuries and coming off several losses there? I love the Pacers at plus 7.5.
And I'll also say this: no Mitchell, no Moss.
No Mitchell, no Moss.
Yeah, I think the
take
Cavs
the 7. Well, you can't
tonight.
bet the 7.5 and the money line together, right? Because
it just depends, man. I think that there is a rhyme or reason. I know once you get later into the games, you can't do really any combinations, but But when the game's starting, I think that there's really all kinds of combinations that you could do.
I tried to go the money line and the plus 7.5, but it doesn't pair them up. It just lists them as individuals. Bets.
Come on, Dak.
But you can pair it with the over, and then give me a player, David. And I'll tell you what their over under is on points.
Let's go with Naismith. I'm gonna say 12.5.
Naismith 12.5. That is correct.
I'm not looking at this. I've been in that series quite a bit.
It's fairly similar. A lot.
Yeah. They keep it. Let's say Hallie. Hallie is 17.5.
Close. 16.5. Evan Mobley is 17.5, and Pascal Siakam is 17.5.
All right, let's go with. All right, he got ejected last game. Benedict Mathurin. I like the way that kid plays, man.
Benedict Mathurin, 12.5.
12.5's a little high for him.
You think?
How about let's go with the white boy hustler from the Pacers, T.J. McConnell.
TJ is 7.5.
7.5. That's where he's kind of been at. Let's go over to the Cavs. We've already talked. What does DeAndre Hunter got?
DeAndre Hunter is 9.5.
Oh, I like that. I like. What do they got? Strus at Max Strus 10.5.
11.5.
11.5.
Yeah, right
okay,
there,
a little higher. How about DG, Darius Garland?
Darius Garland, where is old DG? He's at 18.5.
Ooh.
The highest is Donovan Mitchell at 27.5.
Yeah, but
is he playing?
I mean, they'll put him in there. A lot of times, if you're seeing him though closer to the game, then it feels like they'll be playing. But if you put that on a parlay and he doesn't play, all it does is just remove that and the odds. Yeah.
I like it.
I wish they did that if the player got ejected early in the game, dadgummit.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that would be good. So would you take the Pacers with the 7.5?
If Mitchell's playing, I think the Cavs win.
Okay. But not by 7.5? Question mark.
So tough. Because, I mean, their lone loss is really, and I can't remember the Bucks loss. You know, it's, when you're losing this infrequently, it's hard to remember the losses.
It's true.
I can't remember what that Bucks loss looked like, but I think when they lose, they lose pretty badly, and then they bounce back. You know what? Yeah, I take the 7.5 because I'm going to go against my instinct here, which is probably a smart thing to do in the world of betting, and go with I'll go with the Pacers plus 7.5. Also, real quick, we haven't talked about it today, but congratulations to Coach Jeff Batten, Bozeman Baseball Bucks, on his retirement. Man, whoa,
well deserved.
He was always one of the coaches. Sometimes coaches make it a little bit more difficult for you to, and they don't do it on purpose. They're just so busy. But Coach Patton was always just so nice, genuine, and always available. You know, if he was available, and would make himself available, and a heck of a job as an athletic director, built that baseball program from absolutely nothing, and just, man, a heck of a Bay County legend right here in Panama City.
Yeah, absolutely. But so congratulations to Coach Patton. Real quick, David Hayes, Oklahoma's minus 10.5. Denver is plus 10. What would you take in that one?
Denver.
Plus 10 all the way. On the hockey side of things, I know we're running out of time. Really quickly, Jets and the Stars. Can the Jets even up the series, or do the Stars take a commanding 3-1 lead? Stars are a minus 1.5 at plus 160.
I'll say Winnipeg even series.
I like it. Take them as the money line, plus 130. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4, followed by your Atlanta Braves. I'll be back on Friday. Show will continue on tomorrow and Thursday. Y'all have a great rest of your week.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.